what it is. What it is. Hey, State of the Union today. You guys ready for it? These are popular streams. No, I don't even know. Last time I covered Donald Trump, it was not good. But we are covering Donald Trump today, and it may be a long stream. So buckle up, get ready for it. We're here early. It's 5:35 p.m. Pacific time, February 24th, 2026, the year of our Lord. So we are live on YouTube. We're going to be covering it. So thank you. W. Birkin says, we can hear you. I can hear you. And they're going to be hearing from us soon. So what are your predictions today? So we have the State of the Union address coming up. There is I can go over local news. I can go over local news. I can go over the news that's happening today. Oh, Bitcoin's going up right now. That's good. I shorted MicroStrategy and then I closed it. My Bitcoin is going up right now in anticipation of Donald Trump's speech. We have some things happening in the news. We have predictions about what he's going to say. There's predictions about how long it's going to be. So we have all of that happening today. I'll show you guys the prediction. We can bet on it if you want. If you want to do live betting, I'm not opposed to that. Apparently, it's going to be at least 2 hours long. At least 2 hours long, which I believe would be a record. I think he set a record last time when it was 1 hour and 40 minutes. Last time, so it's his first State of the Union as president this time. So it's his fourth State of the Union overall because the first speech presidents give is not officially a State of the Union. It's called a joint session of Congress. So Jaden says, am I going to watch Candace's Erica documentary? That's in the news today. I can play you the preview for it. It's very controversial. I was covering Candace Owens quite a bit, but then I totally and 100% lost interest after the new year. But will I watch Candace's Erica documentary? Maybe. I'm not interested though in Erica Kirk. I mean, well, we can talk about it. I'll talk about it since you asked. We have time today as usual to deal with the chat, to listen to what you guys are talking about, to answer questions. There is news about Iran today, a little news about AI. A lot of people making predictions, like I said, about what Donald Trump is going to talk about. There was a meeting of the gang of 8 today about what's going to happen in Iran. There's still mixed signals on that. There is people say he's actually going to make a case for the war with Iran. Because so far there hasn't been a case made. So that would be really interesting if he does that. He's going to talk about tariffs. He's going to have the Supreme Court justices perhaps right there in front of him. Some people are worried that he's going to insult the Supreme Court justices to their face. A bunch of Democrats are skipping, are not going to the State of the Union, and there are many alternative events basically happening, alternative Democrat events. So I'm not going to be covering those while the State of the Union is going on. We'll see if I comment while the State of the Union is going on, and we'll see if we make it all the way through. The last thing Trump did that I covered was so terrible that I couldn't even make it all the way through. And not that many people tuned in for it either. They say that Trump sticks to the teleprompter when he does State of the Union. That's what I heard. I heard he actually sticks to the teleprompter, and so he does not do the weave or the off-script remarks. But I've noticed sometimes when he sticks to the teleprompter, he's even more boring than usual. So anyway, we'll see. Hopefully some people are really excited to see it. I have Ted Cruz talking about limited strikes. Oh, there's news broken today by NPR that allegations against Donald Trump from the Epstein files have been covered up. Some people are calling it a scandal as big as Watergate. I'm not saying that yet, but some people are saying that it's a scandal as big as Watergate. So I'll show you that. That's a report by NPR. So, yeah. So that's Pete Hegseth did a bench press. Yeah, some people accused him of having fake weights on the bench press. We have glyphosate, which I didn't cover. Maha. Glyphosate has been super legalized, and they're fighting against anybody who's suing over it. So that's news. How do you guys think the administration is going? What are your comments on the administration so far? Did you vote for Donald Trump? You guys want to see the fake weights of Pete Hegseth? Pete Hegseth. Here's what somebody says the State of the Union is going to be. Should I play my intro? Okay, cue musical intro. Boy, that's brilliant. I do think some things in the world are real. Like you guys. You guys are real. Most of you. Most of my listeners, I think, are not just in my head. I think I have the metrics to prove it. You've taken a leap of faith today. What is that sound? And I apologize if you take offense. I'm a little offended myself. Welcome to our show. Welcome to the future. What it is, joining you live from sunny California. It's a beautiful day today. I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman. And I bring you the news. The real news. Yes, I bring you the real news. If you want to support the show as usual, you cannot give super chats. You can go to buymeacoffee. It's scrolling across the bottom of the screen at all times. You can go to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil and leave coffees. Maybe I'll do multiple reminders today. Maybe. Buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. You can leave virtual coffees and a note, and I will read them before the end of the show. You can also go to our t-shirt shop at truthclothing.io, which I can show you here. Oops, my computer froze, which I can show you here. Here is our shirts for sale, closeout, going out of business sale. They're $10 and $5 per shirt. Check them out on the website. You can get some cryptocurrency shirts, some Bitcoin shirts, some question everything shirts, truth matters, baseball jerseys still some Doshi shirts left, I guess. And you can buy many female styles, notably in the question everything style and also in the lift the veil style. So check those out. Those are really nice. They're $5 and $10, super cheap. And we'll sell them until we are sold out or until we have to give them all away at truthclothing.io. All right. So some people are saying, Poison Pog says, Nathan, how much does the laser helmet cost? Between $500 and $1,900, depending on which one you want, apparently. So they're not cheap. So yes, please give me coffees for my laser helmet. You can get a laser helmet to grow your hair back, but it's probably about as much as paying for medication for it. I didn't want to do medication. So do you guys want to see Pete Hegseth bench press? He said he bench pressed 300 pounds or something, 315 pounds right here. And some people are claiming it was fake. I'll show you that. This is Pete Hegseth. And they're the ones who want to install pull-up bars at airports, so you can do pull-ups while you're waiting for your plane. Really interesting theory. So here's So that's Pete Hegseth lifting weights. Pete Hegseth is going to meet with Anthropic. That's the big news about AI is that Anthropic had access or was being used by the military kind of exclusively because they have such a good safety profile. And the only demands from Anthropic for the use of Claude is that it can't be used for autonomous killing and that it can't be used for mass surveillance. And the government used it in going after Maduro. The sequence of events was that the government used it to go after Maduro, apparently, maybe killed some people with it. I don't know. We used artificial intelligence somehow. And Anthropic asked if they used it, and Anthropic asking was the thing that apparently set off the military, that they don't want Anthropic asking any questions and they don't want to be restricted on how they can use Anthropic. So now they've made a demand that by Friday, they have to let the government do whatever they want with Anthropic's AI, or they're going to put them on a do not use list, which means that I believe it means that anybody doing business with the US government is also not allowed to use Anthropic or Claude. So, which Claude is basically taking over the world. If you guys haven't been paying attention, every day they publish something new and stocks crash. They've wiped out entire industries basically every day with new announcements for what their tools can do. And they just announced something where they're going to have a tool that works a lot like OpenClaw. So, which we've been covering. I have OpenClaw, but my OpenClaw doesn't do much. But they're going to use some tool that works a lot like OpenClaw, where you can start programming with it and then communicate with it from your phone, which is, I think, what OpenClaw does. But yeah, as far as Anthropic goes, I can play that. Let's play some clips. I'll play you. Oh, there's news about aliens too. Here's the Anthropic clip where he says why the government shouldn't be able to use these things. So I'll play that.
That's one reason why I'm worried about the autonomous drone swarm, right? So, the constitutional protections in our military structures depend on the idea that there are humans who would, we hope, disobey illegal orders. With fully autonomous weapons, we don't necessarily have those protections. But I actually think this whole idea of constitutional rights and liberty along many different dimensions, can be undermined by AI if we don't update these protections appropriately. So, think about the Fourth Amendment. It is not illegal to, put cameras around everywhere in public space and, record every conversation. It's a public space. You don't have a right to privacy in a public space. But today, the government couldn't record that all and make sense of it. With AI, the ability to transcribe speech, to look through it, correlate it all, you could say, oh, there's this, this person is a member of the opposition. This person is expressing this view, and make a map of all 100 million. And so, are you going to make a mockery of the Fourth Amendment by the technology finding kind of technical ways around it? And so, again, if we had the time, and we should do this, we should try to do this, even if we don't have the time. Is there some way of reconceptualizing constitutional rights and liberties in the age of AI? Like, we don't need to write a new constitutional, but
but you have to do this very
do
fast.
we expand the meaning of the Fourth Amendment? Do we expand the meaning of the First Amendment?
There you go. So that's what he said about it. Anyway, all he cares about is that the government doesn't use it for automated killing and mass surveillance, and the government objects, and the government is about to put them on a really bad, naughty list. So, and they're worth $380 billion so far. So this year, apparently, all of these huge companies are possibly going to go public, including SpaceX, which is combined with XAI, OpenAI, which is going to be worth $1 trillion, Anthropic, which is apparently worth $380 billion, et cetera. And there was a big thing. Somebody wrote a research note, which crashed stocks yesterday, talking about what AI is going to do in the future. So, which is that it's going to disintermediate things. People are going to stop using credit cards because they'll use stable coins. DoorDash is not going to be able to compete because agents are going to do everything. So I hope you guys are ready for all that. I think a lot of it's true, but not many people pay for AI. There's a very small segment of people that actually use AI to program things. So the Associated Press is reporting Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth gives Anthropic a Friday deadline to open its AI technology for unrestricted military use or risk losing contract, source tells AP. All right, I'll get through some more stuff because the thing's about to start, actually. So here's what Carolyn Levitt says they're going to talk about today.
Everyday Americans who are directly benefiting from his policies and making a few new policy announcements as well to continue tackling the affordability crisis that Joe Biden created 1 year ago. And the president will be talking about the positive metrics we have seen and moving forward towards making life again more affordable and prosperous for all Americans.
So he's going to talk about making it more affordable. The only thing is he was at an event recently where he said he solved affordability. He can't help himself from saying that. So assuming he stays on script this time, which I'm told he does for his State of the Unions, apparently he's not going to say something stupid like that. But people are concerned that he keeps saying that he solved affordability. Inflation actually is going up, according to the numbers. They say inflation is still going up. It's actually higher now than when he became president, when Joe Biden supposedly created the affordability crisis 1 year ago. He wasn't even president 1 year ago. So he's going to talk about affordability. They're going to talk about, he's going to talk about tax cuts, they say, new corporate tax cuts, which, again, I don't think people care about. The corporations already got huge tax cuts last year. Apparently, he's going to talk about new corporate tax cuts, maybe new personal tax cuts, maybe. So that's apparently going to be in the speech. He is not going to be like this. Let's see. This is old school Donald Trump. People say he's not going to be like this.
Obliterate the deep state, drain the swamp, and starve the warmongers, these people that want wars all over the place, killing. They love killing. And the globalists out of our government. We're going to get the warmongers and the globalists out of our government. Obliterate the deep state.
We're going to get the warmongers out. We're about to start a war for Israel. And we haven't that. It's unlike other wars that we're about to start, because usually we go out of our way to try to justify it. In this case, all they did was somebody came out and said that Iran is a week away from making a nuclear weapon. So, which is really confusing because apparently we obliterated their nuclear capacity not very long ago. We completely annihilated it, and anybody saying we didn't was a lying fake media news source. And now apparently they're a week away from a nuclear weapon. So who knows? I'm interested to see how he justifies it. Let's see. Douglas McGregor say the decision has been made. The president, the secretary of war, and their senior military advisors have become convinced that the air and missile campaign will compel the opponent to submit to Washington's demands. Get ready. That's what Douglas McGregor says. So Trump, though, apparently there are lots of stories. Trump is apparently upset that they say that it's not going to be easy. That's what generals are telling him. Generals are telling him there is no easy way to do regime change, and Donald Trump is apparently upset about that. That's in the news. Let's see. State of the Union. Associated Press. We'll take that one. It's supposed to start at 6 or 9, but it's probably not going to start until 9:30. People are already in there. I can show it to you. Well, hold on. Let's see if we want to cover anything else first. China is about to sell anti-ship cruise missiles to Iran, apparently. Hold on. Here's what Ted Cruz says about what's going to happen with Iran.
We're at a moment, Joe, where in the next 6 months, we could realistically see the regimes in Iran, Venezuela, and Cuba all fall, and we could see them replaced with governments that want to be friends with America. Now, let me be clear. There are 1,000 ways that can go wrong, so I'm not being Pollyannish about that. But if that happened, that would be the biggest geopolitical shift since the fall of the Berlin Wall. And so tonight, I expect the president to talk about historic successes over this last year, because it really has been an extraordinary year, both in national security and foreign policy, but also in domestic policy.
How would you, if you were the president, how would you approach Iran? What is it? Another limited strike to try to prevent nuclear enrichment and to say we're serious? Do you go beyond that? Do you hope that somehow organically it happens? Because when you break it, when you own it and you break it, we know what's happened in the past. It's not.
So I talked to the president last week about this, and what I urged the president, I said, listen, the regime has never been weaker. They are teetering. There are real world consequences to losing a war. The Ayatollah lost to Israel in the 12-day war. They are weaker. The regime is weaker than it ever has been. And what I've urged the president, do not miss this opportunity. If the Ayatollah is removed from power, it will make America much safer. This is the leading state sponsor of terrorism in the world. The Iranian regime is responsible for murdering hundreds of American servicemen and women. They fund terrorists all over the world. And so what I've urged the president is, number one, support the protesters and arm the protesters. Let the people of Iran, give them the ability to overthrow their government. And number two, I think there's a very real possibility we will see, potentially in a matter of days, limited strikes. What we're not going to see is boots on the ground. We're not going to see a ground presence of American troops there, but I think there's a real possibility of targeted strikes that are designed to support the Iranian people who are protesting, not designed to put America in the middle of it, but designed this regime, the Ayatollah, when he chants death to America, I believe him.
There you go. When he chants death to America, I believe him. Well, they haven't really attacked us. I mean, there was the USS Cole. Was that the last time? I mean, I don't really think they're a threat. Also in news today, and they just gavelled in the thing. So I'll have to switch over to it. I just heard the gavel and they're announcing the cabinet. This is a big story. The Justice Department has withheld some Epstein files related to allegations that President Trump sexually abused a minor. NPR investigation found. fines. So this is news that was reported today that the Justice Department withheld and removed some Epstein files that were related to Trump that accused him of abusing girls. Let's see. I haven't even read it. Justice Department withheld some Epstein files related to allegations that President Trump sexually abused a minor. It also removed some documents from the public database where accusations against Jeffrey Epstein also mentioned Trump. Some files have not been made public despite a law mandating their release. These include what appear to be more than 50 pages of FBI interviews, as well as notes from conversations with a woman who accused Trump of sexual abuse decades ago when she was a minor. So there you go. NPR reviewed multiple sets of unique serial numbers appearing before and after the pages in question, stamped into documents in the Epstein Files database. They found dozens of pages that appear to be cataloged by the Justice Department, but not shared publicly. So he has been accused of sexually abusing people. The question is whether those accusations are legitimate or not. What do you guys think? I know some people believe it. So big story leading up to this. Other stories are about how bad the polls are for Donald Trump right now and for how much everybody hates him. There's one poll about how people are the least optimistic they've ever been about the future, or the lowest since 2009. Yeah, well, it's lower than 2009, lower than COVID. Current life satisfaction is the second lowest after COVID, and record low of anticipated life in 5 years. 59.2% of people think life is going to get better, I guess. Only 59.2% are optimistic about the future. So that's where we stand today. People hate Trump pretty much more than ever. He's lost particularly minorities and young people. Women, I think, hate him the same as maybe they used to. White people don't like him as much as they used to, but their numbers haven't gone down as much. He's at 60% disapproval. Some people have him at 39% approval. All right, here's the State of the Union on AP. I can close this. There's JD Vance, Mike Johnson. So regarding, do you guys want to see the preview for the Erica Kirk thing? I am opposed. I don't know. So as far as Candace Owens goes, I wasn't that into the Charlie Kirk death investigation. I never found the conspiracy theories to be that convincing is all. And some of the evidence against the alleged shooter seems pretty good to me, but I know that's kind of an unpopular point of view. But then also, if you like Charlie Kirk, theoretically, then it seems to me the worst thing you could do is go after his legacy. And that's what Candace Owens is doing. So it's just kind of like a weird way to be friends with somebody. It's like your whole legacy is like, what do you leave behind? Well, you have your wife and kids. She's not attacking his kids. You have your wife and kids and you have your company. That's your legacy. So she is doing everything she can to burn down everything he thought was important in his life, which is pretty fucked up. I think it's insane, actually. But Erica Kirk, yeah, she's weird. I just don't care that much. Like, I don't know why she has to be painted as a villain. Like, I'm not sure what she's doing that's so terrible that you have to go after her, unless you're just a jealous bitch or something, which is what I think basically Candace Owens is. I feel like Candace Owens just wanted to marry Charlie and have his babies, and now she's just trying to destroy everything that was close to him. But that's my opinion, which is, I suppose, kind of unpopular. But I'm not going to go out of my way to attack her or anything. Candace, not anymore. The thing she did with the thing from the Fort Huachuca thing, I mean, it was insane. I had to talk about that, but that's been swept under the rug. It's totally moved on from that. The Fort Huachuca thing was particularly ridiculous, I thought. That was where she basically accused Erica Kirk of being involved in the murder. So I thought that using that to accuse Erica Kirk of being involved in this murder was bad. But Erica Kirk is going to be here. Doc BBS says, I never believed Lithvale believed a 30-06 bullet would do so little damage to soft tissue and never exit the human body. I don't know enough about 30-06 bullet. I've heard it.
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
I don't know enough about bullets. They say Martin Luther King got shot with a 30-06 that also embedded and didn't exit. He got shot almost exactly the same way. So, don't know. How do I... Oh, new layout. No. Oh, that's interesting. I can do my own layout. Oh, that's cool. The dynamic camera grid. Is this live right now? I have another camera thing. Oh, here we go. Picture-in-picture layout. There we go. So I can do this one too. Then you don't have to look at me as much. So there he is. There's Trump. Worst president ever? Maybe. He might be the worst ever. I thought George W. Bush was pretty bad. If we go to war with Iran, he's going to be right up there because that could be never ending. Do you think we need to talk about Erica, Gina? Gina, what were you talking about? The People's State of the Union? What's that? You were saying the people are watching that. I don't know what that is. What's important about Erica? What's important about TPUSA? Because they push a Zionist agenda. They did under Charlie Kirk too. It was getting better because of Charlie. So there he is. Mike H says Erica is a witch. She's going to be here tonight. And he's going to say something about political violence, apparently. Seems like TPUSA isn't very relevant since Charlie Kirk died. I guess it is still. I guess you can still be pissed off about it. I'm not going to be mad at you. Or I'm not going to think worse of you. Oh, there, Trump just shook Fetterman's hand. Fetterman might be the only Democrat who shook hands with him. Oh, he's going to start pretty quick. It's only 6:09 or 9:09. Yeah, Fetterman's wearing a suit. He looks terrible, though. Terrible tie. Terrible knot, at least. Barron, 8 feet tall. Then there's all the crypto kids who are running scams. Kushner. Apparently, some of the Democrats are bringing illegals as their guests. You're allowed to bring one guest, I think. Some Democrats are bringing illegals. Some Democrats are bringing Epstein survivors. Erica bought a Maybach. Really? That's cool. Maybach's good. Maybachs are kind of cool. If you're driven around, because you have curtains and stuff, kind of cool. It's kind of pimp. Maybe she got one that's bulletproof. 625,000. They really go for that much? I thought they were cheaper now that they were Mercedes. The sound isn't very good. Sounds very hollow. But I assume the sound of the microphone is going to be good.
Members of Congress, I have the high privilege and distinct honor of presenting to you the President of the United States.
That was fast. Oh, I got to turn off subtitles. Hockey team's going to be there.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. It's really an honor. Speaker Johnson, Vice President Vance, First Lady of the United States. Second Lady of the United States. Members of Congress and my fellow Americans, our nation is back, bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before.
Already a failure.
Less than 5 months from now, our country will celebrate an epic milestone in American history, the 250th anniversary of our glorious American independence. This July 4th, we will mark 2.5 centuries of liberty and triumph, progress and freedom in the most incredible and exceptional nation ever to exist on the face of the earth. And you've seen nothing yet. We're going to do better and better and better. This is the golden age of America.
Golden Age came out early. I know that was one of the bets.
When I last spoke in this chamber 12 months ago, I had just inherited a nation in crisis with a stagnant economy, inflation at record levels, a wide open border, horrendous recruitment for military and police, rampant crime at home, and wars and chaos all over the world. But tonight, after just 1 year, I can say with dignity and pride that we have achieved a transformation like no one has ever seen before, and a turnaround for the ages. It is indeed a turnaround for the ages.
And we will never go back to where we were just a very short time ago. We're not going back. Today, our border is secure.
Oh, give me a break. Don't make it longer than it has to be.
Thank you. Today, our border is secure. Our spirit is restored. Inflation is plummeting. Incomes are
not true.
rising fast. The
Also not
roaring
true.
economy is roaring like never before. And our enemies are scared. Our military and police are stacked. And America is respected again, perhaps like never before. After 4 years in which millions and millions of illegal aliens poured across our borders, totally unvetted and unchecked, we now have the strongest and most secure border in American history by far. In the past 9 months, 0 illegal aliens have been admitted to the United States. But we will always allow people to come in legally, people that will love our country and will work hard to maintain our country.
Wow, they're standing up for everything.
The flow of deadly fentanyl across our border is down by a record 56% in 1 year.
Good. I wonder if they're going to get tired of standing
And
up.
last
They're doing
year,
it-
the murder
I mean,
rate
it's only
saw
been a
its
few minutes.
single largest decline in recorded history. This is the biggest decline, think of it, in recorded history, the lowest number in over 125 years, year 1900. In fact, substantially before my wonderful father, I had a wonderful father, Fred, before he was born, substantially before he was born. That's a long time ago. He wouldn't like me to say that, but that's a long time ago. The Biden administration and its allies in Congress gave us the worst inflation in the history of our country.
I don't think it was the
But
worst.
in 12 months, my
He says that,
administration has
but
driven
was
core
bad.
inflation down to the lowest level in more than 5 years. And in the last 3 months of 2025, it was down to 1.7%.
Yeah, but now it's 3. They just measured it.
Gasoline, which reached a peak of over $6 a gallon in some states under my predecessor, it was quite honestly a disaster, is now below $2.30 a gallon in most states, and in some places, $1.99 a gallon. And when I visited the great state of Iowa just a few weeks ago, I even saw $1.85 a gallon for gasoline.
I don't think that's true anymore. Gas prices are going up extremely fast right now. $4.50 in California.
Mortgage rates are the lowest in 4 years and falling fast, and the annual cost of a typical new mortgage is down almost $5,000 just since I took office. 1 year.
Rates are down a little. It's 5.9. You can now get a mortgage for
And
5.99.
low interest rates will solve the Biden-created housing problem while at the same time protecting the values of those people who already own a house that really feel rich for the first time in their lives. We want to protect those values. We want to keep those values up. We're going to do both.
Interest rates won't solve it.
And we are going to keep it that way. The stock market has set 53 all-time record highs since the election. Think of that. 1 year. Boosting pensions, 401ks, and retirement accounts for the millions and millions of Americans. They're all gaining. Everybody's up, way up. In 4 long years, the last administration got less than $1 trillion in new investment in the United States. And when I say less, substantially less. In 12 months, I secured commitments for more than $18 trillion pouring in from all over the globe.
But none of those commitments are signed. And now he can't do tariffs anymore. So actually, none of those commitments mean anything. So those aren't signed deals.
Think of it,
They were from
much
tariff
less
threats.
than $1 trillion for 4 years versus much more than $18 trillion for 1 year. What a difference a president makes.
We haven't gotten any of that investment yet.
A short
Maybe
time ago,
500
we were a
billion so
dead
far.
country. Now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world, the hottest.
That's not true. Other stock markets are up more. The stock market went more up more during Biden's last year than it did under Trump last year.
As thousands of new businesses are forming in factories, plants, and laboratories are being built, we have added 70,000 new construction jobs in just a very short period of time. It's getting bigger and bigger and stronger. Nobody can believe what they're watching. American oil production is up by more than 600,000 barrels a day, and we just received from our new friend and partner, Venezuela, more than 80 million barrels of oil. American natural gas production is at an all-time high because I kept my promise to drill, baby, drill. More Americans are working today than at any time in the history of our country. Think about that. Any time in the history of our country, more working today. And 100% of all jobs created under my administration have been in the private sector.
It's true. We did cut government jobs, which is good.
We ended DEI in America. We cut a record number of job-killing regulations, and in 1 year, we have lifted 2.4 million Americans, a record, off of food stamps. And for all of these reasons, I say tonight, members of Congress, the state of our union is strong.
That's not what people think, though. He, like I said, he likes to try to talk reality into existence. He says it, he thinks it can happen. People don't think that. That's the only difference.
Our country is winning again. In fact, we're winning so much that we really don't know what to do about it. People are asking me, please, 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 Mr. President, we're winning too much. We can't take it anymore. We're not used to winning in our country. Until you came along, we're just always losing, but now we're winning too much. And I say, no, 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 you're going to win again. You're going to win big. You're going to win bigger than ever. And to prove that point, here with us tonight is a group of winners who just made
Hockey
the
team.
entire nation proud. The men's gold medal Olympic hockey team. Come on in.
Yay, sports. The women hockey team refused his invitation. They're partying in Vegas instead. Did you guys watch it? I don't watch. I don't like hockey. I wish I did. It would be a good way to pass the time. Can't get with it.
Go ahead.
This is they had to get the Democrats are standing and clapping. They have to for sports. We did pretty well in the Olympic. We had a good figure skater.
That's the first time I've ever seen them get up. And actually, not all of them did get up. But they beat a fantastic Canadian team in overtime, as everybody saw, as did the American women who will soon be coming to the White House.
They seemed pretty patriotic when they were celebrating with Cash App, PayPal, Patel.
They were in the Oval Office before, and I just want to say a second very big congratulations to Team USA. But I have to say that, and I told them this, and we took a vote of the team. I said, anybody votes no, I'm not doing it. So they stood there, and they weren't about to say no, because I've never seen a goaltender play as well as goalie Connor Hellebuck. Think of it, 46 shots on goal. And I asked him, the one shot, the one where you put your stick in the back and it hit the neck of your stick and bounced off. You practice that, or was that a little lucky? He refused to answer that question. But I just want to tell you that the members of this great hockey squad will be very happy to hear, based on their vote and my vote, and in this case, my vote was more important, that I will soon be presenting Connor with our highest civilian honor, which we will be given and which has been
Medal of
given
Freedom?
to many athletes over the years. But when I say many, not too many, like 12, it's called the highest civilian honor
No way.
in our country,
That's over
the
the top.
Presidential Medal of Freedom.
That's over the top. For just some hockey guy? Come on. Just for a goalie? I think that's a little too much. Now he's giving away too many medals. Medal of Freedom? We won hockey. I mean, we let the NHL play this year. That was why we won, I think. I think we basically should have, I think.
Great athletes have gotten that, very great, the best. And I thought he deserved it. And I did take a vote, every single one of them. I said, I'm not giving it if anybody goes no. And every single one of them rapidly put up their hand. So I want to thank you. What a special job you did. What special champions you are. Thank you very much.
You had to win at least twice, or maybe even like 3 or 4 times. Then you get a Medal of Freedom. I don't even know who that guy is.
I'm also pleased to say that the next time the Olympic torch is lit, it will be here in America for the 2028 Olympics. And it's the summer version right in Los Angeles. We're going to do a good job at
Summer
Los
Olympics
Angeles.
are good. Winter Olympics, man, curling, Jesus. I watched some curling. I actually watched it. God, it's unbelievable. So slow.
And Los Angeles is going to be safe, just like Washington, D.C. is now one of the safest cities in the country.
Well, the truth is, all these blue cities have low crime, and Trump didn't do any.
And this
Trump actually
year,
didn't do anything.
and I must say, I got them both.
Somehow they're
Got
all
them in
safe
the
now.
first term, and I was disappointed because I didn't think I'd be the president when this happened. But strange things took place, and now I've got them because I got the Olympics and I got the 2026 FIFA World Cup.
World Cup.
And I wanted to claim the 250th, but I didn't get away with that one. I couldn't claim that one for myself. But we're getting the World Cup. So we have the World Cup and the Olympics coming, and that is exciting news.
That's true. We're not letting anybody in, though. And a bunch of people are canceling their tickets, I think, for the World Cup.
So this will be a year to celebrate our country and the heroes who have kept it free. Men like Buddy Taggart. At age 17, Buddy volunteered to defend America in World War II, serving in the Pacific under the great General Douglas MacArthur. He fought bravely in the famous Battle of Manila, worked so hard. He was badly wounded and almost killed by enemy machine guns in Luzon. And 81 years ago this month, he liberated the largest internment camp in the Philippines, one of the largest anywhere in the world. But he earned many honors, including a Purple Heart and a Bronze Star, came home, started a family, and tonight he is in the gallery looking forward to July 4th, 2026, his 100th birthday.
It's convenient. He's having trouble standing up. Trump won the he won the FIFA Peace Prize, didn't he?
So, Buddy, you're a brave man, and we salute you. Even in times of challenge, setback, and immense heartache, the spirit of 1776 has always shone through very brightly. It was July 4th of last year when floodwaters tore through a girls' summer camp in Central Texas. One of the worst things I've ever seen. I was there. Rising 26 feet in the matter of minutes, tragically claiming many, many lives. You all remember that one. As the waters threatened to sweep her away, 11-year-old Millie Kate McClelland closed her eyes and prayed to God. She thought she was going to die. Those prayers were answered when Coast Guard rescue swimmer Scott Ruskin descended from a helicopter above. Nobody knew where he came from. It was Scott's first ever rescue mission, a young guy, but very brave, very, very top, always top in his class. And he lifted not just Millie Kate, but 164 others to safety.
I don't believe it. I had one guy save 164 people. I don't believe it. That's not possible. There's the girl and there's the guy. That's cool. All right, we'll clap. Trump said he was there as if he was there. He wasn't there when it happened. I guess he went there after.
People watched Scott from a distance, and they couldn't believe what they were seeing. The winds were blowing, the rain was pouring, everything was going, and that rapid water, nobody's ever seen anything like it. They said, wow, that's something. Tonight, Scott and Millie Kate are here together, reunited for the very first time. Thank you, Scott, Millie Kate.
Coast Guard uniform looks cool. I didn't even know they were real military.
And Petty Officer Ruskin, I'm pleased to inform you that I am now awarding you the Legion of Merit for extraordinary heroism, which is what it was, extraordinary heroism. Thank you.
The Legion of Merit.
I'd like to have
So
the
he gets the
military
Legion of
aid to
Merit,
please
and the
come down
goalie gets the Medal of Freedom. I don't know.
and take care of the service, military aid. Thank you very much. Take care of that very important service. Thank you very much. From 1776 to today, every generation of Americans has stepped forward to defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And they're really doing it for the next generation. But now it's our turn. Together, we're building a nation where every child has the chance to reach higher and go further, where government answers to the people, not the powerful, and where the interests of hardworking American citizens are always our first and ultimate concern. That is the debt we owe to the heroes who came before us, and that is the promise we must keep to America for our 250th year. Last year, I urged this Congress to begin the mission by passing the largest tax cuts in American history, and our Republican majorities delivered so beautifully. Thank you, Republicans.
Mostly for corporations, which is okay. Mostly for corporations, who did extremely well. They
All
didn't hire
Democrats, every single one of them, voted against these really important and very necessary massive tax cuts. They wanted large-scale tax increases to hurt the people instead. But we held strong, and with the great, big, beautiful bill, we gave you no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors.
He also took away health care from a bunch of people to pay for it. Poor people. His constituents, actually.
And we also made interest on auto loans tax deductible the first time, but only if the car is made in America.
New car costs $50,000 average.
Recently in Pennsylvania, I met Megan Hemhauser, a devoted mom who's homeschools her children, beautiful, 2 children, during the day while waiting tables at night as her husband works overtime operating very heavy equipment. Megan is here this evening, and she's happy to tell you that she is so much richer because with no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and our expanded child tax credit done again by Republicans, Megan and her husband will take home more than $5,000 extra just for the year, cutting her tax bill in more than half.
I think if you give me coffees, I think it's actually tips. I haven't found my
Megan, please stand up. We're fighting for you, Megan.
I do actually think it helps me because I think everything I get from live streaming is considered tips. I think. I have to ask AI.
Thank you, Megan. We're fighting for you, Megan. Under our bill, parents like Megan can also activate their children's brand new Trump accounts. And I didn't name it. I did not name it.
You didn't name
I
it.
did not name that.
Okay. So Nutlick named it.
Nobody believes me, but I did not name it. It was named by a very tall man sitting right there in the third row. Nice man, a good man. Tax-free investment accounts for every American child. This is something that's so special and has taken off and gone through the roof. Millions will be pre-funded courtesy of the U.S. Treasury and private individuals like Michael and Susan Dell, who have donated $6.25 billion to fund the Trump accounts for 25 million American children. They're great people. You know, I asked Michael Dell, how do you make all that money? He said, well, I just sat on my dorm in school and I made computers and I'd sell them to people. And I just kept selling and selling and selling. And pretty amazing story. That's called the American dream. He sold a lot of computers, a lot of those laptops. So I congratulate him on that. But I really thank him and Susan, as well as others like Brad Gerstner, a very tremendous guy. He was behind it right from the beginning. Brad Gerstner. Thank you, Brad.
Don't know who that is.
So with modest additional contributions, these young people's accounts could grow to over $100,000 or more by the time they turn 18. Think of it. How much money is that for somebody that started with nothing? Over 100,000, could be much more than that. To make this investment in our children's future, go to trumpaccounts.gov, trumpaccounts.gov. And a lot of people are doing it. It's setting every record in the book. It's popular. They knew what it was going to take. I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of the people that got it started. And now it's just taken off. One of the primary reasons for our country's stunning economic turnaround, the biggest in history, where the Dow Jones broke 50,000 4 years ahead of schedule, and the S&P hit 7,000, where it wasn't supposed to do it for many years, were tariffs.
Oh, God.
I used these tariffs, took in hundreds of billions of dollars to make great deals for our country, both economically and on a national security basis. Everything was working well. Countries that were ripping us off for decades are now paying us hundreds of billions of dollars. They were ripping us so badly. You all know that. Everybody knows it. Even the Democrats know it. They just don't want to say it. And yet these countries are now happy. And so are we. We made deals. The deals are all done. And they're happy. They're not making money like they used to, but we're making a lot of money. There was no inflation, tremendous growth. And the big story was how Donald Trump called the economy correctly. And 22 Nobel Prize winners in economics didn't. They got it totally wrong. They got it really wrong. And then just 4 days ago, an unfortunate ruling from the United States Supreme Court. It just came down. It came down. Very unfortunate ruling.
Democrats clapping.
But the good news is that almost all countries and corporations want to keep the deal that they already made, right, Scott? Knowing that the legal power that I, as president, have to make a new deal could be far worse for them. And therefore, they will continue to work along the same successful path that we had negotiated before the Supreme Court's unfortunate involvement. So despite the disappointing ruling, these powerful country-saving, it's saving our country, the kind of money we're taking in, peace-protecting. Many of the wars I settled was because of the threat of tariffs. I wouldn't have been able to settle them without. Will remain in place under fully approved and tested alternative legal statutes. And they have been tested for a long time. They're a little more complex, but they're actually probably better, leading to a solution that will be even stronger than before. Congressional action will not be necessary. It's already time tested and approved. And as time goes by, I believe the tariffs paid for by foreign countries will, like in the past, substantially replace the modern day system of income tax, taking a great financial burden off the people that I love.
Oh, it's impossible. We'd have to cut the government like 90%. We took in a couple $100 billion. And actually we have to refund $150 billion of it.
Moving forward, factories,
our budget is
jobs,
$7 trillion.
investment, and trillions and
Budget is
trillions of
$7
dollars will
trillion.
continue pouring into the United
How are we going to
States
pay
of
for that with
America.
tariffs?
Because we finally have a president who puts America first. I put America first. I love America. For decades before I came along, we had the exact opposite, from trade to healthcare, from energy to immigration. Everything was stolen and rigged in order to drain the wealth out of the productive, hardworking people who make our country great, who make our country run. Under Biden and his corrupt partners in Congress and beyond, it reached a breaking point with the Green New scam, open borders for everyone. They poured in by the millions and millions from prisons, from mental institutions. They were murderers, 11,888 murders. They came into our country. You allowed that to happen. And record-setting inflation that cost the typical family $34,000 in just a speck of time. Now, the same people in this chamber who voted for those disasters suddenly used the word affordability, a word they just used it. Somebody gave it to them, knowing full well that they caused and created the increased prices that all of our citizens had to endure. You caused that problem.
No,
You
you
that
signed
problem.
the bills. It was during COVID. He signed the bills. It was the bailouts during COVID that caused the inflation. Everybody did it.
They knew their statements were a lie. They knew it. They knew their statements were a dirty, rotten lie. Their policies created the high prices. Our policies are rapidly ending them. We are doing really well. Those prices are plummeting downward.
They're not. They're going up still. They're going up the same speed they were when the day Biden left office.
The price of eggs is down 60%.
Oh,
Madam
eggs.
Secretary, thank you.
Thank God.
The cost of chicken, butter, fruit,
What about steak?
hotels, automobiles, rent is lower today than when I took office by a lot. And even beef, which was very high, is starting to come down significantly. Just hold on a little while. We're getting it down. And soon you will see numbers
cow
that few
shortage,
people would think
apparently.
were possible to achieve just a short time ago. Nobody can believe when they see the kind of numbers, and especially energy, when they see energy going down to numbers like that, they cannot believe it. It's like another big tax cut.
Energy's
I'm also
actually gone up.
confronting one of the biggest
Overall.
ripoffs of our times, the crushing cost of health care caused by you. Since the passage of the Unaffordable Care Act, sometimes referred to as Obamacare, big insurance companies have gotten rich. It was meant for the insurance companies, not for the people. With our government giving them hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars a year as their stock prices soared 1,000, 1,200, 1,400, and even 1,700%, like nothing else. That's why I introduced the great healthcare plan. I want to stop all payments to big insurance companies and instead give that money directly to the people so they can buy their own health care, which will be better health care at a much
Is that
lower
funny?
cost.
Yeah, I don't want to give it to insurance companies. I wanted to give it to people so they can give it to insurance companies. It's like, what's our choice? Really?
In addition, my plan requires maximum price transparency. That's a big deal. Sounds so simple, so big. And I did that in my first term, and the Democrats immediately terminated it with full knowledge that they were doing a very bad thing for the people. Costs were going to go way up, and that's what happened. And now I'm bringing them way down on healthcare and everything else. I'm also ending the wildly inflated cost of prescription drugs like has never happened before. Other presidents tried to do it, but they never could. They tried. Most didn't try, actually. But they tried. They said they tried. They couldn't do it. They didn't even come close. They were all talk and no action, but I got it done under my just enacted most favored nation agreements. Americans who have for decades paid by far the highest prices of any nation anywhere in the world for prescription drugs will now pay the lowest price anywhere in the world for drugs. Anywhere, the lowest price. So in my first year of the second term, should be my third term, but strange things happen. I took prescription drugs, a very big part of healthcare, from the highest price in the entire world to the lowest. That's a big achievement. The result is price differences of 300, 400, 500, 600% and more. All available right now at a new website called TrumpRx.gov. And I didn't name that one either, by the way.
Price is down more than 100%. It's impossible. I like that he says it though.
And here tonight is the very first customer ever to get that big discount, and it is big. Catherine Rayner. For 5 years, she and her husband have struggled with infertility, and they turned to IVF. One drug has been costing Catherine $4,000 to purchase. But a few weeks ago, she logged onto the Trump RX website and got that same drug that cost $4,000, got it for under $500, a reduction of much more, actually, than $3,500. Catherine, we are all praying for you, and you're going to be a great mom.
No, it's good he brought down drugs. Somebody says I should acknowledge good things. Yeah, the most favored nation thing for drugs is good. It's good. Trump RX just redirects to other cash discount websites. It's not anything unique.
So now I'm calling on Congress to codify my most favored nation program into law. Now, the one thing I'm not sure it matters, because it's going to be very hard for somebody that comes along after me to say, let's raise drug prices by 700 or 800%. But John and Mike, if you don't mind, codify it anyway. They may do it. Codify it anyway. Thank you. Many Americans are also concerned that energy demand from AI data centers could unfairly drive up their electric utility bills. Tonight, I'm pleased to announce that I have negotiated the new Ratepayer Protection Pledge. You know what that is? We're telling the major tech companies that they have the obligation to provide for their own power needs. They can build their own power plants as part of their factory, so that no one's prices will go up. And in many cases, prices of electricity will go down for the community, and very substantially down. This is a unique strategy never used in this country before. We have an old grid. It could never handle the kind of numbers, the amount of electricity that's needed. So I'm telling them they can build their own plant. They're going to produce their own electricity. It will ensure the company's ability to get electricity while at the same time lowering prices of electricity for you, and could be very substantial for all of you cities and towns. You're going to see some good things happen over the next number of years. Another pillar of the American dream that has been under attack is home ownership. With us tonight is Rachel Wiggins, a mom of two from Houston. She placed bids on 20 homes and lost all of those bids to gigantic investment firms that bypassed inspection, paid all cash, and turned those houses into rentals, stealing away her American dream. She was devastated. Stories like this are why last month I signed executive order to ban large Wall Street investment firms from buying up in the thousands single-family homes. And now I'm asking Congress to make that ban permanent, because homes for people, really, that's what we want. We want homes for people, not for corporations. Corporations are doing just fine. Rachel, thank you very much. Good luck with your home. You'll get one soon. We're also working to make it easier for Americans to save for retirement. And under this administration, we will always protect Social Security and Medicare. They are not protecting it for our seniors. We will always protect Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid.
I don't know how he's going to do that.
Since I took office, the typical 401k balance is up by at least $30,000. That's a lot of money. We have millions and millions of people, because the stock market has done so well, setting all those records. Your 401ks are way up. Yet half of all of working Americans still do not have access to a retirement plan with matching contributions from an employer. To remedy this gross disparity, I'm announcing that next year my administration will give these often forgotten American workers, great people, the people that built our country, access to the same type of retirement plan offered to every federal worker. We will match your contribution with up to $1,000 each year.
$1,000.
As we ensure that all
Wow.
Americans can profit from a rising stock market.
That's
Let's
just
also
for federal
ensure that
workers.
members of Congress cannot corruptly profit from using insider information.
How are you going to do that? I think Congress has to pass that. I don't think he can do it.
They stood up for that. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Did Nancy Pelosi stand up if she's here? Doubt it. Pass the Stop Insider Trading Act without delay.
Okay, yeah. They have to pass it.
I wasn't sure if anybody even on this side was going to applaud for that. I'm very impressed. Thank you. I'm very impressed. But when it comes to the corruption that is plundering, it's plundering America. There's been no more stunning example than Minnesota, where members of the Somali community have pillaged an estimated $19 billion from the American taxpayer. Oh, we have all the information. And in actuality, the number is much higher than that. And California, Massachusetts, Maine, and many other states are even worse. This is the kind of corruption that shreds the fabric of a nation, and we are working on it like you wouldn't believe. So tonight, although started 4 months ago, I am officially announcing the war on fraud to be led by our great Vice President, J.D. Vance.
So JD is going to lead the war on fraud. Well, that's good. I mean,
He'll get it done. Find enough of that fraud, we will actually have a balanced budget overnight. It'll go very quickly.
overnight. That's
The kind of
2
money you're
trillion
talking about.
a
We'll
year,
balance
maybe
our
2.5 trillion.
The Somali
A
pirates
year.
who ransacked
That's hard.
Minnesota remind us that there are large parts of the world where corruption and lawlessness are the norm, not the exception. Importing these cultures through unrestricted immigration and open borders brings us problems right here to the USA. And it is the American people who pay the price in higher medical bills, car insurance rates, rent, taxes, and perhaps most importantly, crime. We will take care of this problem. We're going to take care of this problem. We are not playing games. Delilah.
I don't think it's primarily foreigners, though. I mean, I don't think. I think there's plenty of Americans that do it too.
Delilah Colden was only 5 years old in June 2024 when a 18-wheel tractor trailer plowed into her stopped car traveling at 60 miles an hour or more. The driver was an illegal alien let in by Joe Biden and given a commercial driver's license by open borders politicians in California. Doctors said Delilah would never be able to walk or talk, have a good life. She wouldn't even be able to eat again. But against all odds, she is now in the first grade learning to walk. And she's here this evening with her dad, Marcus, a fantastic man. Delilah, please, you are a great inspiration. Please stand up.
You told her to stand up. I don't know if she's capable.
Thank you, Delilah. Many, if not most, illegal aliens do not speak English and cannot read even the most basic road signs as to direction, speed, danger, or location. That's why tonight I'm calling on Congress to pass what we will call the Delilah Law, barring any state from granting commercial driver's licenses to illegal aliens.
Oh, that's fine.
And yesterday, as you probably saw at the White House, I hosted a ceremony with Americans who lost their treasured loved ones to the scourge of illegal immigration. People came into our country, how we allowed this to happen with our open borders. These are the angel moms and families that for decades our government betrayed and our media totally ignored. It was terrible. Hard to believe, actually. In 2023, a 16-year-old high school cheerleader named Elizabeth Medina was supposed to perform in her town's Christmas parade, but she never arrived. Her mother, Jacqueline, went home to look for her, and she found her lying dead in a bathtub, bleeding profusely after being stabbed 25 times. Elizabeth's killer was a previously arrested illegal alien who had broken in and brutally extinguished the brightest light in her family's life, violently and viciously. Her heartbroken mother is in the gallery to remind everyone in this chamber exactly why we are deporting illegal alien criminals to our country at record numbers, and we're getting them the hell out of here fast. We don't want them.
She doesn't even have a seat, I don't think. They made her stand.
Thank you very much, Jacqueline. Thank you. We can never forget that many in this room not only allowed the border invasion to happen before I got involved, but indeed they would do it all over again if they ever had the chance. If they ever got elected, they would open up those borders to some of the worst criminals anywhere in the world. The only thing standing between Americans and a wide open border right now is President Donald J. Trump and our great Republican patriots in Congress. Thank you. Thank you. As we speak, Democrats in this chamber have cut off all funding for the Department of Homeland Security. It's all cut off. It's all cut off. They have instituted another Democrat shutdown, the first one costing us 2 points on GDP. 2 points we lost on GDP, which probably made them quite happy, actually. Now they have closed the agency responsible for protecting Americans from terrorists and murderers. Tonight, I'm demanding the full and immediate restoration of all funding for the border security, Homeland Security of the United States, and also for helping people clean up their snow. We have no money because of the Democrats, and it would be nice. We'd love to give you a hand at cleaning it up, but you gave no money. Nobody's getting paid. It's a shame. So you have to think about it. We have, in case you didn't know, a pretty large snowstorm out there. One of the great things about the State of the Union is how it gives Americans the chance to see clearly what their representatives really believe. So tonight, I'm inviting every legislator to join with my administration in reaffirming a fundamental principle. If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
You're not showing the Democrat half the room. I don't think they're standing up, but I think they're not showing that half. Yeah, they're not standing up. This is to make a scene. So he's hoping that this one will stick. All right, guys. I mean,
Isn't that a shame? You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials
people are
who
yelling
block
at
the
me.
removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal
There's lots of
these
yelling
people
going on.
out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
That black lady's yelling. A bunch of people were really yelling at him.
And perhaps most importantly, I'm asking you to approve the Save America Act.
I think even the Republicans don't want to pass that.
Stop illegal aliens and others who are unpermitted persons from voting in our sacred American elections. The cheating is rampant in our elections. It's rampant. It's very simple. All voters must show voter ID. All voters must show proof of citizenship in order to vote. And no more crooked mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. None. And this should be an easy one. And by the way, it's polling at 89%, including Democrats, 89%.
Voter ID polls at 89%, maybe, but not the proof of citizenship thing. That's very difficult.
And even the new communist mayor of New
No, I
York
mean,
City,
it's
I
not
think he's a
bad,
nice
but
guy, actually.
Very difficult.
Speak to him a lot.
Citizenship.
Bad policy, but nice guy. Just said they want people to shovel snow. They got hit hard. Wants them to shovel snow, but if you apply for that job, you need to show 2 original forms of ID and a Social Security card. Yet they don't want identification for the greatest privilege of them all, voting in America. No, it's no good. No good. Both Republicans and Democrats overwhelmingly agree on the policy that we just enunciated. And Congress should unite and enact this common sense, country-saving legislation right now, and it should be before anything else happens. And the reason they don't want to do it, why would anybody not want voter ID? One reason, because they want to cheat. There's only one reason. They make up all excuses. They say it's racist. They come up with things you almost say, what imagination they have. They want to cheat. They have cheated. And their policy is so bad that the only way they can get elected is to cheat. And we're going to stop it. We have to stop it, John. And here is one more opportunity to show common sense in government. In the gallery tonight are Sage Blair and her mother, Michelle. In 2021, Sage was 14 when school officials in Virginia sought to socially transition her to a new gender, treating her as a boy and hiding it from her parents. Hard to believe, isn't it? Before long, a confused Sage ran away from home after she was found in a horrific situation in Maryland. A left-wing judge refused to return Sage to her parents because they did not immediately state that their daughter was their son. Sage was thrown into an all-boys state home and suffered terribly for a long time. But today, all of that is behind them because Sage is a proud and wonderful young woman with a full-ride scholarship to Liberty University. Sage and Michelle, please stand up.
What's she doing with her finger? Is that a clap?
And thank you for your great bravery. And who can believe that we're even speaking about things like this? 15 years ago, if somebody was up here and said that, they'd say, what's wrong with him? But now we have to say it because it's going on all over numerous states without even telling the parents. But surely we can all agree no state can be allowed to rip children from their parents' arms and transition them to a new gender against the parents' will. Who would believe that we're even talking about this? We must ban it, and we must ban it immediately. Look, nobody stands up. These people are crazy. I'm telling you, they're crazy. Amazing. Incredible. Boy, oh boy. We're lucky we have a country. With people like this, Democrats are destroying our country, but we've stopped it just in the nick of time, didn't we? Huh? No one cares more about protecting America's youth than our wonderful First Lady, now a movie star. She's a movie star. Can you believe it? Who would have believed that? Over the past year, she has had an incredible impact championing AI legislation, advancing a landmark executive order on foster care, and helping secure $30 million to launch the Melania Trump Foster Youth to Independence Initiative. It's a tremendous, really a tremendous thing that happened and had a lot of bipartisan support. She gets much better bipartisan support than I do. I get none. She gets a lot. Someday you're going to have to tell me how you did that. And students and educators in every state have joined the First Lady's efforts in the presidential AI challenge, keeping America's next generation positioned to succeed and strongly succeed in the future. Tonight, we welcome two young people whose lives reflect the First Lady's impact, Sierra Burns and Everest Nevermont. Thank you both, and Melania, thank you. I know how hard you worked on it. Thank you very much.
What did she do? She made Foster or something?
I'm very proud to say that during my time in office, both the first 4 years and in particular this last year, there has been a tremendous renewal in religion, faith, Christianity, and belief in God. Tremendous renewal.
Coming from a guy who's like, who doesn't, I don't know if he's ever opened the Bible.
This is
That's
especially
all right.
true among young people. And a big part of that had to do with my great friend, Charlie Kirk, a great guy, great man.
There's Erica.
So last year, Charlie was violently murdered by an assassin and martyred, really martyred for his beliefs. His wonderful wife, Erica, is with us tonight. Erica, please stand. Thank you, Erica. Been through a lot. In Charlie's memory, we must all come together to reaffirm that America is one nation under God, and we must totally reject political violence of any kind.
Democrats stood up for that one.
We love religion, and we love bringing
We
it back.
love religion.
And it's coming back at levels that nobody actually thought possible. It's really a beautiful thing to see. Above all, unleashing America's
We love
promise
Jews.
requires
He
keeping
should
our
say that.
communities safe. We have made incredible strides, yet dangerous repeat offenders continue to be released by pro-crime Democrat politicians again and again. We are honored to be joined tonight by a woman who's been through hell, Anya Surutska. In 2022, she and her beautiful daughter, so beautiful, what a beautiful young woman, Irina, fled war-torn Ukraine to live with relatives near Charlotte, North Carolina. And by the way, what's going on with Charlotte? Last summer, 23-year-old Irina was riding home on the train when a deranged monster who had been arrested over a dozen times and was released through no cash bail, stood up and viciously slashed a knife through her neck and body. No one will ever forget. There were people on that train. No one will ever forget the expression of terror on Irina's face as she looked up at her attacker in the last seconds of her life. She died instantly. She had escaped a brutal war only to be slain by a hardened criminal, set free to kill in America, came in through open borders.
He didn't. He was.
Mrs.
Wait, he didn't come
Zaretsky,
in through
tonight, I
open
promise you,
borders.
we will ensure
He was
justice
just
for
an
your
American black guy,
magnificent
right?
daughter, Irina.
I think he got that wrong. He was just an American black guy. Correct me if I'm mistaken.
How do you not stand? How do you not stand? I'm asking this Congress to pass tough legislation to ensure that violent and dangerous repeat offenders are put behind bars, and importantly, that they stay there.
I wonder how the Congress can do that. Seems like that would be local. Seems like that's local. Wonder what Congress can do.
Starting last summer, I deployed our National Guard and federal law enforcement to restore law and order to our most dangerous cities, including Memphis, Tennessee, big success, New Orleans, Louisiana, big success, and our nation's capital itself, Washington, D.C., where we have almost no crime anymore in Washington, D.C. How did that happen?
Yeah, but crime is down in Baltimore, Chicago.
In fact, crime in Washington is now at the lowest level ever recorded, and murders in D.C. this January were down close to 100% from a year ago. They don't like to hear that. One of the sick people, one of the brave service members who helped achieve this stunning turnaround was 20-year-old West Virginia Army National Guard Specialist Sarah Beckstrom. After a 4-month deployment, she voluntarily extended her service, and her rank was going to be lifted. She was doing so well. They were so proud of her. But the very next day, she was on patrol near the White House when she was ambushed and shot in the head by a terrorist monster from Afghanistan. Shouldn't have been in our country. And all because she wore the uniform of our nation, she was shot. He traveled here because he didn't like people wearing our uniform. He was sick and deranged, shouldn't have been in our country. Sarah Beckstrom died in order to defend our capital, and we are honored to be joined by her wonderful parents, Gary and Evalie. Your daughter was a true American patriot, and she will be greatly missed. She was a great person. I saw reports on her. They've never seen anything like it.
Hey, Mike, thanks for asking about Super Chat. I applied. They were supposed to get back to me like 3 months ago for Super Chats, but I don't know what to do. Maybe I can email them? I'm not sure.
So sorry. Thank you very much. She's a great young lady. I saw reports that were like, perfect. She was perfect. Serving alongside Sarah that day was Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf. The terrorist shot Andrew in the head, and no one thought he could possibly make it. The two of them, Sarah and Andrew, both shot violently in the head. Neither was expected to make it. They weren't even given a chance, except his wonderful mother, named Melody, who I spoke to the same night, and she was so positive. The doctors thought that Andrew was gone, but his mother said, no, Mr. President, Andrew will be fine. He's going to make it. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, he was given almost no chance. She said, I have no doubt, sir, he's going to be okay. This was a conversation that I had with her that night, with her son laying helplessly in bed, blood all over. Everybody is praying, she said, sir, he will be okay. The doctors didn't understand what she was saying. And after looking at the results of the damage done, neither did I. She was so strong and conclusive that even Andrew's great father felt she didn't really understand the gravity of the situation. But she turned out to be right. Right, Melody? She turned out to be right.
I missed this. I was getting back to somebody. What happened? Is he a retard?
Amazing, actually. I said, where does this woman come from? She's the most positive person I've ever met. With God's help, Andrew has battled back from the edge of death, and we're talking about the edge of death, on his way to a miraculous recovery. He's got a little work to do, but he's doing great. Nice to see you. He's a good-looking guy. Nice to see you. Thanks, Andrew. Thank you very much.
What was the deal with Andrew, his name is? Oh, he was the National Guard guy that got shot?
So, Andrew, while you're up, now I'm going to ask a highly respected General James Seward to present Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf and the great family of Sarah Beckstrom with the award created by our late, great President George Washington himself. It's called the Purple Heart.
That's nice. That's the guy that got shot by the Afghani. So he lived, huh? And then somebody else died. Good job.
We love you all. Love you. We're proudly restoring safety for Americans at home, and we are also restoring security for Americans abroad. Our country has never been stronger. In my first 10 months, I ended 8 wars, including Cambodia. Isn't it funny? Sick people. Cambodia and Thailand, Pakistan and India would have been a nuclear war. 35 million people said the prime minister of Pakistan would have died if it were not for my involvement. Kosovo and Serbia, Israel and Iran, Egypt and Ethiopia, Armenia and Azerbaijan, the Congo and Rwanda, and of course the war in Gaza, which proceeds at a very low level. It's just about there. And I want to thank Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner for your help. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Jared.
I don't think the war in Gaza is over. What's happening in the West Bank is really bad.
And I also want to thank the man they report to, Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Thank you, Marco.
He likes Marco. You might like Marco more than JD. He's trying to decide.
People like you. You know, Marco got 100% of the votes when he was in confirmation. I think our next one was about 54%. And some of the Democrats are now saying, I can't believe we approved that guy. And he said it's an honor that they feel that way, right, Marco? You have done a great job, great Secretary of State. I think he'll go down as the best ever.
He does like 20 jobs or something. He's all right. I mean,
under the ceasefire I negotiated, every single hostage, both living and dead, has been returned home. Can you believe that? Nobody thought it was possible. Nobody thought that was possible. Both living and dead. And those parents who had a dead son, their boy, they'd always tell me their boy, they wanted him as much as though he were living. It was an amazing period of time. And they came back, and when we got all of the living hostages back, and many, many before them, but I always said those last 20 are going to be very tough, but we got many, many more, hundreds. But I said those last 20 are going to be tough. We got them back. But we only got back 14 or 15 of the dead of the 28. And believe it or not, Hamas worked along with Israel, and they dug and they dug and they dug. It's a tough thing to do, going through bodies all over, passing up 100 bodies sometimes for each one that they found. Tough job. And they finally got it back to 27. And then Steve and Jared, they got it back to 28. They found all 28. Nobody thought that was possible, but we did it. And I remember the family of the 28th. They were so grieved, but they were so happy as it's possible to be. They had their boy back. The mother said, "Sir, we have our boy back." What a period of time that was, but we got them all back. So thank you both very much. Great job. And we're working very hard to end the ninth war, the killing and slaughter between Russia and Ukraine, where 25,000 soldiers are dying each and every month. Think of that, 25,000 soldiers are dying a month. A war which would have never happened if I were president, would have never happened. As president, I will make peace wherever I can, but I will never hesitate to confront threats to America wherever we must. That's why in a breakthrough operation last June, the United States military obliterated Iran's nuclear weapons program with an attack on Iranian soil known as Operation Midnight Hammer.
Did we obliterate it? Now supposedly they're about to get nukes again. That's why we're going to bomb them. He's going to talk about Iran, I guess.
For decades, it had been the policy of the United States never to allow Iran to obtain a nuclear weapon. Many decades. Since they seized control of that proud nation 47 years ago, the regime and its murderous proxies have spread nothing but terrorism and death and hate. They've killed and maimed thousands of American service members and hundreds of thousands and even millions of people with what's called roadside bombs. They were the kings of the roadside bomb. And we took out Soleimani. I did that during my first term. Had a huge impact. He was the father of the roadside bomb. And just over the last couple of months with the protests, they've killed at least, it looks like 32,000 protesters. 32,000 protesters in their own country.
No, I've never heard
They
that.
shot them and hung them. We stopped them from hanging a lot of them with the threat of serious violence. But this is some terrible people. They've already developed missiles that can threaten Europe and our bases overseas, and they're working to build missiles that will soon reach the United States of America. After Midnight Hammer, they were warned to make no future attempts to rebuild their weapons program, and in particular, nuclear weapons. Yet they continue, starting it all over. We wiped it out, and they want to start all over again, and are at this moment again pursuing their sinister ambitions. We are in negotiations with them. They want to make a deal, but we haven't heard those secret words. We will never have a nuclear weapon. My preference.
Secret words. We haven't heard those secret words. Oh, look, the Democrats are standing up. Yeah, everybody wants to go to war with
My
Iran.
preference
That's
is to
what's crazy
solve
about
this
it.
problem through diplomacy. But one thing is certain, I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far, to have a nuclear weapon. Can't let that happen.
The Democrats stand up for that too.
And no nation should ever doubt America's resolve. We have the most powerful military on earth. I rebuilt the military in my first term. We're going to continue to do so. Also, we just approved a $1 trillion budget. We have no choice. We have to be strong because hopefully we will seldom have to use this great power that we built together. It's really called peace through strength, and it's been very, very effective.
But aren't we about to go to war? That's what's crazy.
So thanks to Republican in Congress, we're investing that record number of dollars, have no choice, in the United States Armed Forces. Also creating a lot of jobs, but we're not even doing it for that reason. Because as I said, we have more jobs, more people working today than ever before in the history of our country. And NATO countries are friends and allies. They are. They're our friends and they're our allies. Have just agreed at my very strong request to pay 5% of GDP for military defense rather than the 2%, which they weren't paying. We were paying for almost all of NATO. Now they're paying 5 as opposed to not paying 2. And getting that 5% was something which everyone said would never be done, could not happen. We got it really easily with one meeting. And big difference between 2% that's not paid. We were paying the freight of many of them. Very few were paid up. Now 5%, then they're paid. And everything we send over to Ukraine is sent through NATO, and they pay us in full. They pay us totally in full. Every branch of our armed forces is setting records for recruitment. This is so exciting. And every service member recently. And every service member recently received a warrior dividend of $1,776. You know, they put it on my desk. We got the money from tariffs and other things, a lot of money we have. We have much more money than people understand. Have to rebuild that program a little bit, but it won't take long.
We have more money. Why
But
do
we
have
got the money,
$2
and it
trillion?
was $1,775, and they wanted my approval. And I said, what's the number? $1,775. I said, wait a minute. For one more dollar, we can have $1,776. It's going to I said, we're going to figure that. I never asked anybody if we could afford it. One more dollar, I said $1,776. And I said, that's good. And I'll tell you what, our military, that was 4 months ago, our military, I never see a person in the military that doesn't thank me for it. So we're honored to do it. They deserve it. And we call it 1776. It was great. And we love our military. We love our law enforcement. We love our firemen. You know, the firemen don't get mentioned enough. We love our firemen. We're also restoring American security and dominance in the Western Hemisphere, acting to secure our national interests and defend our country from violence, drugs, terrorism, and foreign interference. For years, large swaths of territory in our region, including large parts of Mexico, really large parts of Mexico, have been controlled by murderous drug cartels. That's why I designated these cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, and I declared illicit fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction.
Yeah. Pretty funny.
And with our new military campaign, we have stopped record amounts of drugs coming into our country and virtually stopped it completely coming in by water or sea. You probably noticed that. We very seriously damaged their fishing industry also. Nobody wants to go fishing anymore. We've also taken down one of the most sinister cartel kingpins of all. You saw that yesterday. In January, elite American warriors carried out one of the most complex, spectacular feats of military competence and power in world history. No one's seen anything like it. Foreign leaders, I won't tell you who, called me and they said, very impressive, very impressive. They couldn't believe, they all watched. They saw what happened. This is a different fighting force that we had years ago when we fought to tie. You know, it's a great fighting force. I'm so proud of it. Look at Space Force. Space Force is my baby because we did that. My baby. It's
He's going
becoming
off.
so
Correct.
important.
I was hoping he wouldn't do this.
And America's armed forces overwhelmed all defenses and utterly defeated an enemy, good fighters, to end the reign of outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro and bring him to face American justice.
So it's been.
And this was an absolutely colossal victory for the security of the United States. And it also opens up a bright new beginning for the people of Venezuela. We're working closely with the new president of Venezuela, Delcy Rodriguez, to unleash extraordinary economic gains for both of our countries and to bring new hope to those who have suffered so terribly. They really did suffer. With us tonight is Alejandro Gonzalez. She grew up in a tight-knit Venezuelan family and was especially close to her beloved uncle Enrique. But after Enrique ran for office and opposed Maduro, he was kidnapped by Maduro's security forces and thrown into the regime's really infamous prison in Caracas. Alejandro feared she would never see her uncle again. She feared for her own life also. But since the raid, we have worked with the new leadership, and they have ordered the closure of that vile prison and released hundreds of political prisoners already, with more to come. Alejandro, I'm pleased to inform you that not only has your uncle been released, but he is here tonight. We brought him over to celebrate his freedom with you in person. Enrique, please come down.
So that's a political prisoner we freed from Venezuela. Yeah.
Thank you, Enrique. Have a good time. Nice to have you back, Enrique. There were many heroes on that January raid to capture Maduro, really great heroes. It was very dangerous. They knew we were coming. They were all set. But the deeds of one warrior that night will live forever in the eternal chronicles of military valor. Chief Warrant Officer 5, Eric Slover, planned the mission and was the flight lead in the cockpit of the first helicopter, a big, beautiful, powerful helicopter. It was a massive Chinook carrying, as you can imagine, many, many American warfighters. Wearing the dog tags his wife Amy had blessed with holy water before he left. She knew it was going to be a rough one. Eric steered the Chinook under the cover of night and descended swiftly upon Maduro's heavily protected military fortress. This was a major military installation, protected by thousands of soldiers and guarded by Russian and Chinese military technology. How did that work out? Not too good. While preparing to land, enemy machine guns fired from every angle, and Eric was hit very badly in the leg and hip, one bullet after another. He absorbed 4 agonizing shots, shredding his leg into numerous pieces. And yet, despite the fact that the use of his legs was vital to successful helicopter flight, legs are the most important part of flying a helicopter, to deliver the many commandos who would capture and detain Maduro was the only thing Eric was thinking about. Then, even as he was gushing blood, which was flowing back down the aisle, helicopter lands at a steep angle. The machine gun stood right in front of him. They were right in front of him, 2 machine gunners who escaped the wrath of the previous planes. Eric maneuvered his helicopter with all of those lives and souls to face the enemy and let his gunners eliminate the threat. Turned the helicopter around so the gunners could take care of business, saving the lives of his fellow warriors from what could have been a catastrophic crash. deep in enemy territory. Only after safely landing the helicopter with all the warriors aboard in the exact right spot, which was vital to the mission, we probably would have had to maybe cancel the mission if that didn't happen. Eric told his co-pilot, also wounded, but not as gravely, to take over. I'm about ready to pass out. The success of the entire mission and the lives of his fellow warriors hinge on Eric's ability to take the searing pain. It was unbelievable what's happened to his legs of the bullets and keep on flying and landing, and people knew what was happening. Everybody in the back of the helicopter knew because they saw the blood pouring down the aisle. Chief Warrant Officer Slover is still recovering from his serious wounds, but I'm thrilled to say that he is here tonight with his wife, Amy, Eric, and Amy. Come on in. So we have a surprise for Eric and Amy. In recognition of Eric's actions above and beyond the call of duty, I would now like General Jonathan Braga to present Chief Warrant Officer Slover with our nation's highest military award, the Congressional Medal of Honor.
He's a big guy. It's pretty tough. I don't agree with the Maduro raid, but I clapped anyway. He's got a walker. They look pretty jacked. Looks like a big dude.
Well, thank you very much, Eric and Amy. Great to get to know you. I met with them and with a lot of their fellow warriors at Fort Bragg recently. You notice the name Fort Bragg, we have it back, we brought it back. We won the First World War with it, the Second World War with it, and then they decided to change the name. So we changed it back. Everybody wanted to change back too. And 10 of Eric's fellow warriors from that incredible night of victory will also be receiving medals at a private ceremony that will soon be held at the White House, and Eric will be there. Thank you.
So it's been an hour, I think an hour and 40 minutes so far. Doesn't seem like it's slowing down. Has he talked about how he's going to fix the economy? He hasn't really. Or he's going to talk about tax breaks for corporations. I haven't heard that yet.
Thank you, Eric. That's a big one. Tonight we've celebrated many truly extraordinary American patriots, but there is one last living legend to honor before we go.
Oh, so it's
He
almost over.
is one more heroic American aviator, Navy fighter pilot. Royce Williams served in World War II Korea, Vietnam, flying more than 220 missions. In the skies over Korea in 1952, Royce was in the dogfight of a lifetime, legendary dogfight. Flying through blizzard conditions, his squadron was ambushed by 7 Soviet fighter planes. It was his first aerial combat of the war, and despite being massively outnumbered and outgunned, Royce led the takedown of 4 enemy jets and almost destroyed the others, vanquishing his adversaries while taking 263 bullets to his own plane and being seriously hurt. His story was secret for over 50 years. He didn't even want to tell his wife, but the legend grew and grew. But tonight, at 100 years old, this brave Navy captain is finally getting the recognition he deserves. He was a legend long before this evening. Royce, please stand up, and I will ask the First Lady of the United States to present Captain Royce Williams with his Congressional Medal of Honor.
What did this guy do? I missed it. He's the old guy, huh? Something in World War II, I guess. Been a whole lot of this tonight. I've never seen a State of the Union where it was so much focus on people that came and so little talk about like policy and stuff. You didn't introduce any new policies, I don't think.
Thank you, Royce, and thank you, Eric. I've always wanted the Congressional Medal
Didn't
of
mention
Honor, but I was
aliens.
informed I'm not allowed to give it to
People
myself.
thought he
and
was
I wouldn't know
going
why
to.
I'd be taking it, but if they ever open up that law, I will be there with you someday. But you know, that's our highest honor, Congressional Medal of Honor, and that's a big thing, and it's an honor to be in the same room with you. Thank you both very much, Eric. Thank you. Thank you. 250 years is a long time in the life of a nation, but in another sense, it's really a mere moment in the eye of history. 2 of the gentlemen we met in the gallery this evening took their first breaths 1 century ago, 100 years before that, on July 4th, 1826, the author of the Declaration of Independence, brilliant, Thomas Jefferson, drew his last breath. Just a single long human lifespan separates the giants who declared and won our independence from the heroes who stand among us tonight. Everything our nation has done, everything we have achieved, has been the work of those few great lifetimes. In those brief chapters, Americans built this nation from 13 humble colonies into the pinnacle of human civilization and human freedom, the strongest, wealthiest, most powerful, most successful nation in all of history. Americans ventured out across the daunting and dangerous continent. We carved paths through an unforgiving wilderness, settled a boundless frontier, and tamed the beautiful but very, very dangerous Wild West. From empty marshes and wide open plains, we raised up the world's greatest cities. Together, we mastered the world's mightiest industries and shattered history's monstrous tyrannies. And we liberated millions from the chains of fascism, communism, oppression, and terror. Americans lifted humanity into the skies on the wings of aluminum and steel. And then we launched mankind into the stars on rockets powered by sheer American will and unyielding American pride. We wired the globe with our ingenuity. We captivated the planet with American culture.
Like in America.
And now we are pioneering the next great American breakthroughs that will change the entire world. All of this and so much more is the enduring legacy, unmatched glory of the hardworking patriots who built and defended this country and who still carry the hopes and freedoms on all of humanity's backs. For years, they were forgotten, betrayed, and cast aside. But that great betrayal is over, and they will never be forgotten again. Because when the world needs courage, daring, vision, and inspiration, it is still turning to America. And when God needs a nation to work his miracles, he knows exactly who to ask. There is no challenge Americans cannot overcome, no frontier too vast for us to conquer, no dream too bold for us to chase, no horizon too distant for us to claim. For our destiny is written by the hand of providence, and these first 250 years were just the beginning. From the rugged border towns of Texas to the heartland villages of Michigan, from the sun-kissed shores of Florida to the endless fields of the Dakotas, and from the historic streets of Philadelphia to right here in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., the golden age of America is upon us. The revolution that began in 1776 has not ended. It still continues because the flame of liberty and independence still burns in the heart of every American patriot. And our future will be bigger, better, brighter, bolder, and more glorious than ever before. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
There you go. So it was less than 2 hours. Some people were saying it was going to be more. What do you guys think? I saw a lot of arguing in the chat. Mike likes Trump and people don't like Mike in the chat. I noticed that. The chat's been scrolling on the screen. It was an extra patriotic speech, I think probably specifically for the 250th anniversary of this country. 250 years since the Declaration of Independence, specifically. He didn't really justify war with Iran that well. He didn't go into it very much. He didn't say anything new. As far as things he wanted done, he said he wanted to pass the Save America Act, which isn't going to pass because a lot of Republicans actually don't care about it. But even if they all did, it can't pass the Senate. He said to open up the government, the DHS, which the Democrats shut down just because they want ICE to change, which is actually kind of reasonable. And the Republicans aren't bending on the ICE stuff. So people aren't necessarily going to blame the Democrats that much. And anyway, ICE has plenty of money to keep working. ICE and Border Patrol, because they got a bunch of money in the big, beautiful bill. Eventually, though, I think air traffic controllers and stuff aren't getting paid. So eventually we'll have problems at our airports again, I assume. But Republicans haven't been that reasonable about ICE reforms, because it's probably reasonable that a lot of those reforms should take place. Warrants, IDs. What are the other ones? The no face masks? I don't know. I understand why they wear face masks. Warrants, IDs, no racial profiling, no citizenship check.
You're looking at video now of President Donald Trump as he makes his exit from the U.S. House chamber. He has been giving what is now the longest State of the Union address in our country's history. He broke that record tonight, but he's shaking hands with a lot of those members of Congress who often line the aisles in moments like this, mostly probably Republicans, if I had to guess, but wanting to get that moment with the president after his address, after multiple rounds of standing ovations from Republicans. But we'll get into a bit of what we heard in terms of Democratic response here in a moment. I'm Meg Kennard. I'm back here, of course, with Sagar Meghani in the U.S. Capitol. And Sagar, we've been listening to this speech. Just a reminder to you all, by the way, we will be bringing you the Democratic response from Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger as soon as it begins. So if you make an abrupt exit from our talkback right now, that's exactly what's going to be happening. So just a reminder of the fast-moving night we have. But Sagar, what do you think is, one, aside from the record-breaking length, one of your biggest takeaways in terms of what we heard?
It was like an hour and
Trump
50
tonight?
minutes.
I think the first part was what the White House and what many Republicans wanted it to be, and that was
Do you want to hear
very
what
heavily
these guys have
focused
to say?
on the economy and on acknowledging that people still don't see costs as low as they want them to be.
I don't think he
really
acknowledged
tried to
that.
lean into things he has done to help the economy, from Trump's savings accounts and, of course, the tariffs, with very muted criticism of the Supreme Court, unlike he did after its ruling back on Friday. There was the Trump veering off message. You know, we have the prepared text and we can follow along. And I think we all know the president's face and his tone changing when he wants to veer. But
all right, I'll give my opinion. I don't think he talked that much about the economy. The only thing he said about housing is he's going to bring down interest rates, which isn't going to make housing affordable. And then he said he's going to ban. Oh, he said he wants to ban private banks from buying houses, but it's such a small percentage of houses that are owned by private banks, and it doesn't include like rich people that have a lot of houses. A lot of landlords are just like private landlords that buy a ton of houses, and they're actually they form corporations to do that. They're still allowed to do that. It's just a few investment banks he wants to stop. Let's see, hold on.
some were thrown out. Committee of the whole on the state. I think in all, it was about what we expected. The president said to expect a very long speech. It was a very long speech, not nearly as combative as a lot of things we've heard. But
Mr. Speaker, also move that the House stand adjourned.
It would appear he got done what he wanted.
Questions on the motion to
It seemed like
adjourn.
we
Those in
really,
favor
really
say
did
aye.
hear a lot of that focus on the
Those
economy
opposed,
that
no.
the vice president, that other elected Republicans have said that they really want to hear from President Trump. And Americans have issued that as well in terms of their responses to polling questions about, hey, can you talk more about the domestic economy issues that we're still seeing?
I'll cover
There was a
the
mention
response too.
for President Trump's
not.
perspective, him being
I
able to
ate
bring
beforehand.
down prices
That's what I
for
did to
regular
prepare.
Americans and all of the different economic
Normally I'd have
boosts
to
that
eat
he's
by
been
now.
able to hand out in terms of making prices better.
I'll show the
drugs
Democratic
and the
response.
Trump accounts that have recently been stood up. So kind of making a lot of those references. By the way, looking at your screens, you're seeing more pictures of Statuary Hall. Remember, this is exactly what we were looking at earlier before the State of the Union address began. It's where we saw all those members of the cabinet and senators as well filing through that area, this historic vaunted space in the U.S. Capitol, through there into the House chamber, which is back that way. So now this is where we will be seeing those same people exiting the chamber as they come back through. There are other media members
giving the
in
response. I haven't really heard
from the-
Stamberger. She's some kind of up and coming Democrat. We'll see what the Democrats have to say. See if it's interesting. I mean, Democrats are going to win because everybody still hates Trump. But it was actually, I think, a pretty, if I had to measure the speech, it was pretty good because he didn't say anything that offensive. And he basically said a lot of things that were just like pro-America. And he spent a lot of time referring to people. I've seen a lot of State of the Unions, and I don't remember any where there was so much time spent with guests, with special guests, and medals being given away and stuff like that. Looks like they're cutting. They just ducked out. Had a lot of soaring rhetoric at the very end about how great America is, which you can't argue with. He didn't, I really didn't think he did it. I disagree with what the commentators said, though, about him addressing that people were suffering in the economy. He didn't really address that. He said things are great. He says it's the golden age, which people don't feel. He didn't say people are still struggling. He didn't say they still have work to do to bring prices down. He did say they're going to combat fraud, which he said would balance the budget, which would be unbelievable.
All right. As mentioned, we're going to be speaking with some members of Congress, getting their reaction to the speech tonight. So I have with me Representative Eric Burleson. Hello. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. And if you can, first off, just kind of give us your top line, your 30,000-foot view of what you heard in the State of the Union.
Well, I heard a vision. I heard a bold vision for the country. And what bolder individual to lay out that vision? The president, I think he did a really good job at reminding us of how far we've come in just 1 year. The fact that we went from a nation that was overrun in our borders. We had fentanyl coming across, killing, thousands and thousands of U.S. citizens.
Williamsburg.
Here we go.
We are gathered here in the chambers of the House of Burgesses. In 1705, the people of the Virginia colony gathered here to take on the extraordinary task of governing themselves. Before there was a Declaration of Independence, a Constitution, or a Bill of Rights, there were people in this room. The people who served here ultimately dreamed of what a new nation, unlike anything the world had ever seen, could be. The United States was founded on the idea that ordinary people could reject the unacceptable excesses of poor leadership, band together to demand better of their government, and create a nation that would be an example for the world.
She's very smiling. Oh, she has a crowd too? Oh, no.
And this year, as we celebrate 250 years since America declared our independence from tyranny, I can think of no better place to speak to you as we reflect on the current state of our union. Tonight, as we watched our nation's lawmakers gather for a joint session of Congress, we did not hear the truth from our president. So let's speak plainly and honestly. And let me ask you, the American people watching at home, 3 questions. Is the president working to make life more affordable for you and your family?
Good question.
Is the president working to keep Americans safe both at home and abroad?
Good question.
Is the president working for you? As I campaigned for governor last year, I traveled to every corner of Virginia, and I heard the same pressing concern everywhere. Costs are too high in housing, healthcare, energy, and childcare. And I know these same conversations are being had all across this country. Because since this president took office last year, His reckless trade policies have forced American families to pay more than $1,700 each in tariff costs. Small businesses have suffered, farmers have suffered, some losing entire markets. Everyday Americans are paying the price. And even though the Supreme Court struck these tariffs down 4 days ago, the damage to us, the American people, has already been done. Meanwhile, the president is planning for new tariffs, another massive tax hike on you and your family. And Republicans in Congress, they remain unwilling to assert their constitutional authority to stop him. They're making your life harder. They're making your life more expensive. They're even making it more difficult to see a doctor. Rural health clinics in Virginia and across the country are already closing their doors thanks to the so-called One Big Beautiful Bill, championed by the president and Republicans in Congress. And tonight, the president celebrated this law, the one threatening rural hospitals, stripping healthcare from millions of Americans and driving up costs in energy and housing, all while cutting food programs for hungry kids. But here in Virginia, I am working with our state legislature to lower costs and make the Commonwealth more affordable. And it's not just me. Democrats across the country are laser focused on affordability in our nation's capital and in state capitals and communities across America. In the most innovative and exceptional nation in the history of the world, Americans deserve to know that their leaders are focused on addressing the problems that keep them up at night. Problems that dictate where you live, whether you can afford to start a business, or whether you have to skip a prescription in order to buy groceries. So I'll ask again, is the president working to make life more affordable for you and your family?
No.
We all know
you
the
guys
answer.
don't. You guys
is no.
aren't doing anything either.
I grew up in a house of
That's
service.
the
My
thing.
mother was a nurse and my father was a career law enforcement officer. I
Nobody has
began
to
my
answer
career
to
by
it.
following in my father's footsteps as a federal agent working money laundering and narcotics cases. I worked side by side with local and state police to keep our community safe and to uphold and enforce the law. Law enforcement officers across the country know that it is a unique responsibility to do the serious work of investigating crimes, comforting victims, and making arrests. It's about building trust, and that requires an abiding sense of duty and commitment to community. And yet, our president has sent poorly trained federal agents into our cities, where they have arrested and detained American citizens and people who aspire to be Americans. And they have done it without a warrant. They have ripped nursing mothers away from their babies. They have sent children, a little boy in a blue bunny hat, children to far off detention centers. And they have killed American citizens in our streets.
That's true.
And they have done it all with their faces masked from accountability. Every minute spent sowing fear is a minute not spent investigating murders, crimes against children, or the criminals defrauding seniors of their life savings. Our president told us tonight that we are safer because these agents arrest mothers and detain children. Think about that. Our broken immigration system is something to be fixed, not an excuse for unaccountable agents to terrorize our communities. After working in law enforcement, I continued my career of service as a CIA officer, working undercover to protect the United States and our allies from global threats, terrorism, nuclear weapons, and the aggression of adversarial nations around the globe. But as the president spoke of his perceived successes tonight, he continues to cede economic power and technological strength to Russia, bow down to China, bow down to a Russian dictator, and make plans for war with Iran. Here's the truth. Over the last year, through DOGE, mass firings, and the appointment of deeply unserious people to our nation's most serious positions, our president has endangered the long and storied history of the United States of America being a force for good. So I'll ask again, is the president working to keep Americans safe, both at home and abroad? We all know the answer is no. In his speech tonight, the president did what he always does. He lied, he scapegoated, and he distracted. And he offered no real solutions to our nation's pressing challenges, so many of which he is actively making worse. He tries to divide us. He tries to enrage us, to pit us against one another, neighbor against neighbor. And sometimes he succeeds. And so you have to ask, who benefits from his rhetoric, his policies, his actions, the short list of laws he's pushed through this Republican Congress? Somebody must be benefiting.
Rich people.
He's enriching himself, his family, his friends. The scale of the corruption is unprecedented. There's the cover-up of the Epstein files, the crypto scams, cozying up to foreign princes for airplanes and billionaires for ballrooms, putting his name and face on buildings all over our nation's capital. This is not what our founders envisioned, not by a long shot. So I'll ask again, is the president working for you? We all know the answer is no. But here's the special thing about America. On our 250th anniversary, we know better than any nation what is possible when ordinary citizens, like those who once dreamed right here in this room, reject the unacceptable and demand more of their government. We see it in the determination of students organizing school walkouts all across the country, whose voices are becoming so powerful that the governor of Texas seeks to silence them. We see it in the bravery of Americans in Minnesota standing up for their communities, from peacefully protesting in sub-zero temperatures to carpooling children to school so that their immigrant parents are not ripped away from them in the parking lot. As a mother of 3 school-aged daughters, I am inspired by their bravery, but I am sickened that it is necessary. And Americans across the country are taking action. They are going to the ballot box to reject this chaos. With their votes, they are writing a new story, a more hopeful story. In November, I won my election by 15 points. And we won 13 new seats in our state legislature.
Kind of weird looking. Is she a
Because voters
Floyd?
decided they
Is that a
wanted
Floyd?
something different. Our campaign earned votes from Democrats, Republicans, independents, and everyone in between, because they knew as citizens they could demand more, that they could vote for what they believe matters, and that they didn't need to be constrained by a party or political affiliation. This is happening across the country. New Jersey elected Mikey Sherrill as governor in a double-digit victory. Democrats flipped state legislative seats in places like Georgia, Iowa, Mississippi, and Texas. The list goes on and on. Ordinary Americans are stepping up to run in the spirit of our forefathers. They are running to demand more and to do more for their neighbors and communities. I know this story well. I first ran for office in 2018 alongside dozens of other Democrats who did the seemingly impossible, flipping 41 seats in Congress. In my case, I was the first Democrat elected in 50 years, swinging our district 17 points. Those who are stepping up now to run will win in November because Americans, you at home, know you can demand more and that we are working to lower costs. We are working to keep our communities and our country safe, and we are working for you. In his farewell address, George Washington warned us about the possibility of, quote, cunning, ambitious, and unprincipled men rising to power. but he also encouraged us, all Americans, to unite in a common cause, to move this nation forward. That is our charge once more, and that is what we are seeing across the country. It is deeply American and patriotic to do so, and it is how we ensure that the state of our union remains strong, not just this year, but for the next 250 years as well, because we, the people, have the power to make change, the power to stand up for what is right, the power to demand more of our nation. May God bless the Commonwealth of Virginia, and may God bless the United States of America.
Hey, thanks, Grilled Salmon. I tried monetizing the channel. You can super chat me by going to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil or by going to Cash App and using $sign LTV411. Thanks, Gina, for sending a Cash App. I saw that come through. Thanks, Gina. All right, what do you think of her? She's good. I mean, I don't know. It's pretty simple. She was fine. She was very mannish and smiley. But I think I didn't say anything super controversial. I think Democrats are going to win because they're not happy with Trump, but they're not happy about affordability. I don't think Democrats have answers about affordability either, because affordability comes from our budget deficit, which is $2 trillion a year. It's going to be $2.5 trillion a year. Money printing, which nobody wants to stop. Fraud, a little bit, which maybe we can do something about if we really try, if we really want to. But that's where the costs come from. Some of it from illegal immigrants, which we stopped coming in. Tariffs actually make it worse. That's true. So I'll check my, let's check my super chats. Thanks people who want to super chat me. Makes me feel bad that I'm not monetized. Let me see if I have any super chats from this show. Buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. Nope, didn't get any today, but I did get at least one Cash App dono. But yeah, for 3 hours of work, it doesn't pay that great, but that's all right. I like hanging out with you guys. It wasn't the most painful thing I've ever seen, his speech. I think overall it'll be received pretty well. I'll have to tune into what other people are saying about it. All right, I think that's it. I mean, that's what I got for you guys. It was almost 3 hours to show today. We covered everything. We gave live commentary. We debunked some of the things Trump said. He does lie about things. That's true. We're still going to war with Iran, which we haven't justified. We still have inflation. We're still doing tariffs, which nobody likes. And people still don't like Trump. So that's where we have it. I don't think he did anything to damage himself today, though, with his speech. It wasn't particularly bad. So there we go. All right. Anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in. Good seeing you guys. Happy America. I'll see if I can get stuff together and do another show. If I don't do a show right away, don't worry about me. Just trying to get everything together. So I will look at the news. I do look at the news every day and try to gather stuff up. So we'll see. If I come back tomorrow, it'll probably be around my usual time, which is around 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. God bless America. And everybody have a good night. All right. Thanks. And if you want to support the show, if you wanted to super chat anytime, you go to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. You can go to Cash App at $sign LTV411. That's that thing right there. Or you can buy t-shirts by going to truthclothing.io. And those, we have $5 t-shirts. So save your super chat and buy a t-shirt if you feel like it. Then you actually get something out of it. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you at the next one. For now, that's what